Last year, I used the Hobonichi Cousin Avec for a full year, and I recently sat down and flipped back through it just to see what actually happened on those pages. It ended up being much more of an honest reflection than I expected, not just about the planner, but about how I actually plan, what I needed, and why I ended up shifting in a different direction. So today I wanted to share my real experience using the Hobonichi for a year for my first time and what I learned from it. I'll also be sharing the first month and a half in my 2026 planning and journal system and how it's going so far. You can get an idea here of how my year started in the 2025 Cousin Avec. Including some pages I really loved. And plenty of blank ones too. And then we'll see. I tried to pick it back up around October, right? And it just not the same. October. It feels so long ago now. I mean, like, nothing on the weeklies. I tried to see if I could use them a little bit more, and I'm inconsistent. I'm inconsistent with the weeklies always, like even in my planner now. So this is kind of why you're seeing why I made some of the decisions I did. I was going to do an ideal week. I didn't even finish. Prepped some stuff, didn't do anything. Tried to do like daily journaling and see if I liked it better in the weekly form, which, I mean, it is nice. It's like a short, quick, let me get out thoughts, feelings, and it does make for a full page. But then I feel like, what do I do on the daily page is kind of where I went. I filled this in with patterns. And then, yeah, I think we're at the end of the year. So a lot of blank, empty. I mean, I did a girls' trip in July, and so I glued the stuff in, and I never went back to write stuff. I mean, this is a project we did in the summer. I mean, I picked it back up a little bit, at least the daily pages, right? So it's a hard, I don't know. Like, I love it when I use it, but I wasn't consistent. And I mean, you're kind of seeing some of the reasons that I made the decision to change to what I'm doing now. And honestly, this is just part of who I am, an ADHD, and it's always been a part of me, and now I can point to it and be like, part of it's ADHD. I mean, I go through, when's this, September? Yeah, so I picked it back up in like September, October, it looked like. Yeah, into October, definitely picked it back up, which is nice. Like, there's value in this for me, and flipping through it now, I'm like, all right, I need to get back to just the daily journaling, because this is fun. But this is where I have been a little conflicted with, like, maybe I should get something dated, but I also already had, because the dated, right, gives a little bit more accountability, but I haven't journaled in 2 weeks, attempting to catch up. And I love it when I do, even if it's pages like this. Like, I'm fine with entries being like this some days. And then I try some more of the collage. Sometimes it works really well. I like having a place for paraphernalia from trips. That's what that was. But sometimes that like, I do love the way this feels, but sometimes that works against you when you're putting this much stuff on it, I feel like. I don't know. All right, and then, yep, November, life gets busy, going into the holidays. I think I got sick. Oh yeah, I did. I got sick right after that trip. More, and it just, and I'm fine with this. I mean, it's hard because it is nice. Oh, I got new stuff from JetPen. Had a lot of fun. So those days are fun. This is nice. And truly, oh, I got my Sula bag. Truly, like, doing days like this is really relaxing and fun to me, but it's also, yeah, this was me really trying to lean into like more of an art journal. This was when I had already kind of thought about making the decision. I had let go of the pressure of the weeklies. I was just doing simple art journaling stuff. And I think these days, these were some of those weeks where I was like journaling in the weekly pages to feel how that felt. Which this is fun experimental stuff I want to keep doing for sure. I can't get into the currently pages. Maybe that's just me, but like this is me trying to do it currently. Oh yeah, I gave gifts every day because somebody was turning 40 and I documented it. Yeah, like this stuff is so fun. There is something freeing about like doing art like this over top of a grid and a date page because there's no pressure. There's no pressure at all. But then if I do something I really, really love, I feel a little bit torn. That's so fun. Yeah, see, I love like kind of having these little places for it, but I don't have stuff every day. And I'm not gonna go search for stuff every day because I got enough going on. I was gonna do a year in review. Obviously, I haven't gone back to fully do that, so we're just doing sticky notes. And then I've got like nothing in the back here because at that point I was over it. So that was my Hobonichi flip through. To give you an idea, I love this in theory, and I mean I love it in practice, but one, I have so many journals already. I have traveler's notebooks, I have so much Happy Planner stuff, even if it's out of date, and I just can't justify spending $70, $80, $90, $100 on a Hobonichi, even though like the dated part I loved, but I don't use the weekly. And when I look back, honestly, at my 2024 planning, which I was pretty regularly planning for my week to like do to-do lists and dates and all that stuff, the Happy Planner just worked really well for me. It's a lot less pressure. But to replace the artist journal version of this, that practice that I love, that I have really not been doing great the last like month and a half because I've been catching up on another hobby that I had dropped off the face of the planet that I love, and I'm so excited that I'm doing more of that again. So this is what I'm doing. I have a couple other like loose journals that I'll grab, but mainly these are the main two, which I will say, me, ADHD brain, got a lot going on. I change my mind a lot. I have a lot of different interests. It's just like one less thing to keep up with. This is the main system. Happy Planner. I did love this cover. I was not using Happy Planner. This came out last year. I saw this cover on Michael's, and I think it was on clearance, and I was like, I have to get it. So I got it. This is the problem, is I have so much Happy Planner stuff. But this is my Happy Planner. I've got some stickers in here. And then I do love the disc planner system because I can use it as kind of memorabilia. I probably still have too many things going on, let's be honest. I mean, this is a little sketch that I did when I was actively using the Happy Planner system for my job at the time, and while we were sitting at a conference, listening to stuff that didn't apply to me, I drew a picture. So I love that it's so fluid, and I've got it set up kind of freaking planner style, but I've got like planner in the front. This is future planning. I tried to put a lot of birthdays in here this year. And then because I freaking planned, this was a different month, I don't know, but I was going to treat it as like a January page. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I hate the placement of these pages at the beginning of the month because it's dated with the prior month and it's kind of before the tab for the current month or future month. And so I'm like, I was really, like if it was for January, it's really a December reflection, but it says January. And I get that it's like maybe for prioritizing things in January, but for me, I want it to be behind the January tab if it's for January. Anyway, journal page I didn't fill out because I have like a journal from them. So then, real honest look, what planning looked like for January. I set up my month. I love a monthly overview. I don't always go back to look at it. This was starting January 1st, doing the reflection. This was the next week. And it just is nice to have like a checklist like this, and then in an ideal world, and eventually I'll start printing them, I have this page, and then I have more of like a straight horizontal layout where I can just do appointments and stuff. But if I want to do journaling, like a mini journaling each day, the dashboard is nice for that. But then I switched to the weekly to try it out, which I don't know. I don't love it, I don't hate it, but I like this weekly better than the Hobonichi because there's more room. Some weeks it looks like this, and I scribble everywhere and I take notes, and it's what's open, and I don't use it as a weekly planner. I just use it as paper. There's that page I hate again that I just never figure out what to do with. All of my previous happy planners, they're pretty much blank. And then I decorated February. Again, I love an Outlook. Used it, but honestly, that was the first week of February, kind of used it. And then truthfully, this was last week, right? Not sure when this video is going to post. I need to sit down and I want to do this week. And then, I mean, you can see, but it's not always pretty. Like sometimes, some days, some weeks, my focus is here and I like the stickers and I'll make it look pretty. But you can see I didn't even fill that out. I didn't go back to it because I got busy. I was working on other things. And then here we are. And so this is more probably what I need to function, and we'll keep doing it. And then additionally, what I keep in here, I've got usually about 2 months and then maybe a third like monthly. I created a section for tasks because I just function well with task lists. And then I have like a projects tab for like ongoing things and ideas. And then notes on like goals. It's like a notebook, which is fine. It's blank pages, and I have plenty of happy planner blank pages. I do think I'm going to start using, I need to update it, but these are the checklists. If you've ever gotten a Happy Planner Teacher Edition, they come with all these checklists in the back. I can't speak for all the teachers out there, but I'm not going to handwrite all my students. For elementary teachers who only teach like their group of students, this might work well. For me, I'm not using it. I do love a grid though. So I think I'm going to do, this is my like last time that I like changed your filter. It's a good way to keep track of, like in January 6th, we cleaned the gutters. And I wanted to do one for my dogs and stuff too, but I didn't. And then this last tab, one of the happy planners I have is like a journaling one, and I just put that in here. So that's primarily what I'm using, though looking back at it right now, it's really just a glorified notebook, which is fine. I like how flexible it is. I like that I can go grab a vertical weekly from my stash. If I want a vertical, I can grab a dashboard, I can grab a daily, and I just throw it in there. I like the modularity of the system, which is similar to Traveler's Notebook, but a little different. I don't like a ring binder, like a traditional ring binder. I know, like that, because I like to do this. This is my favorite thing about this. This is also what I use for a planner for school, is the bigger one. And because I like to flip it over and write, I don't like to always take up the whole space. And then you can also fully use the back of the page and do the same thing. And for me, it's a spiral notebook, but it's a flexible spiral notebook, which is what I love about it. So that's one of the reasons I like Discbound so much. I love it for junk journaling too, but it's good for just memory keeping in ephemera because I can just glue it onto a tabs page, or I can punch the tabs and pop it in there. So in lieu of the Hobonichi and the art journaling that I loved, this is what I decided to do. This is it's by Leuchtturm, 1917. It's one of their notebooks, but it's from Bullet Journal. Like, it's one of their artist edition ones. I saw this last year and I loved this. And I thought I was going to bullet journal. So I asked for it for Christmas. So I had this and it was a gift. And I was like, what am I going to do with it? I still love the Leuchtturm 1917 notebooks. They are one of my favorite just general notebooks. So I'm more than happy for that. But I will show you, it is a little bit different than a traditional Leuchtturm if you've never gotten the bullet journal one. So this is a traditional Leuchtturm. They're obviously both A5, but this is just a smidge thicker. I don't actually know if it's more pages. You can really see this way, I guess. It is a little thicker, not bigger. It's just that this is in the way. Both A5, a little bit thicker. And this paper is also a little bit thicker. So this doesn't ghost quite as bad. The other thing that's nice about this is it has these smart marks. So you can very quickly and easily divide your page into halves or thirds without having to like measure and count. So I had this, and then here we are. Started 2026. I would imagine if I use it as consistently, if I use it the way I've been using it lately, it's not gonna get full. But I would imagine if I fill it up consistently, at least as consistently as I did with the Hobonichi, it will just be 2026. I might not quite make it. I wrote down my intentions and wanted to rewrite them and haven't done that yet. But this is the intentions page. I forgot, I think this says index or table of contents. Yeah, and it has the key, and I was like, I'll cover that up because I don't use the same bullet journal symbols even if I am bullet journaling. Started out real strong, January 1st. I had a lot of fun. Like this, I will say, was so freeing. This is the first kind of like art journal page I did with this much mixed media. This is the goal, is that, you know, sometimes it's this, but sometimes it's this. And so far, sometimes it's been, yeah, that's one page, you guys. They're good pages. And some days it's this. I do think, did I glue one together for this? No, it bled through, but I put the stickers over the top of what bled through. I mean, they're good pages. And some days, you know, it is a journal. This is journaling, but it's like memory keeping. It's not like heavy emotional journaling. Didn't do anything, hadn't been in here in a while. I started a sketch, and then, I mean, I really need to get back on it. And the reason that I haven't been is because I realized one of the benefits of this, my little tracker. So I will say this helped me realize and accomplish some things that I wouldn't have. This year of like me just like taking care of myself and like making time for myself and my hobbies and doing that, I did a pretty good job. I did a much better job tracking it early on, but I realized, so I did art making, I did journaling, I did reading, mostly audiobooks. I didn't do any sewing. Video games, yes. I did like a couple of days of like a nature hike thing. Aquarium, mostly meant to. Friends and family, I loved marking that. We got a new puppy. That totally derailed, honestly, a lot of things, but okay. And then weights and fitness I added in towards the end because I really started doing that. I didn't do a single thing of sewing, and sewing is the thing. As much as art is a part of my identity, it's been there as long as just general art making almost. And it's really something that I love. And for me, it's not exclusive. Like sewing is art and art is sewing. I quilt a lot, and that's mostly how I get out of it, the art making. And I didn't do it at all last year. And I love it. And one of the things on my 25 and 25 was to finish a quilt. Now I did finish a canvas or two, which is great. I have a lot of unfinished ones of those, but I didn't do a single quilt. And it kind of made me so sad. And there were a lot of reasons for that. And some of them are not good ones, but I think it's because I have too much going on. And it's a priority level. And yeah, a year of me just trying different things and making time for myself every day is great. But the priority level of like, this is really important to me. These are really important to me. This is like, some of them are non-negotiables and some of them are like, this is just nice and I enjoy it. And it's nice when I get to do it. But it kind of broke my heart that I didn't sew at all. So one of the reasons that my February planner and journals is blank is because I am happy to say I've been sewing so much. One of the reasons I hadn't been sewing, I think, is because my space to sew in and journal in and do all this creative stuff in was just too full, too disorganized. And I said, all right, I need to get this figured out. So I spent so much of February sewing, and it's so nice to have like rekindled that and refound it. And I plan to start sharing some of that more as well. I wanted to share mostly to see if I could help somebody else. I know there's people out there that are like, maybe I should get a Hobonichi. I know there's so many more options now. And I was really torn on it last year. I'm glad that I did it. It opened up a door to something that I hadn't expected. I am already seeing like kind of the downsides of not having a dated thing, because this being dated creates a little bit of accountability. That if you're healthfully balanced, it's a good accountability. But obviously what I also learned was, even though it was dated, that didn't guarantee that I was going to write on it, that I was going to do something every day, which was the goal. Now, was I creative every day? Pretty much every day that I wasn't sick, I was creative in some way. Whether it was here, whether it was at school, whether it was in a different journal, whether it was at my studio, all of those things. So like, I do think journaling and documenting really helped push me into some of those directions I wanted to go to. And it's okay that I have blank pages, and it's okay that you have blank pages. And, you know, everything that you see on the internet is supposed to be informative and fun and helpful. And so I hope this encourages you to, you know, do something different and not worry about the rules, and maybe use what you have and not get so sucked into the trends. But if you can and you want to try something, then try it. And if you try it and it fails, it fails. Or you learn something along the way. I don't feel like the Hobonichi failed. I mean, this one definitely not as well loved the second half of the year. But, you know, it's still going to be a great, the essence of 2025 is kind of what I was looking for when I decided to do this. That's what I loved about bullet journaling when I looked back at that. But I think I've just outgrown bullet journaling, and there's more that I want to do, and I'm not quite fit for the Hobonichi. It's not the right system for me. But it is a pretty cool system. And again, I'm happy I tried it. We'll see where I go this year. If anything, I feel like YouTube and sharing my story has held me a little bit more accountable. And I know I haven't been around. You know, we got a dog, summer happened, the new school year happened, life happened. But I would really like to continue to share my story on how I, you know, live a creative life and manage all the things in between, and hopefully encourage you to be creative along the way as well. Love to know what you think. What are you doing this year? What did you learn from last year? And I hope you're creative today.